watched episode 1 of season 1 of the TV show Fleabag. Uh, yep, I think it was very interesting introduction. Like, since the beginning, you're grabbed into the attention of what is going on. Yeah, very, very open. In other words, explicit about anything that can happen on TV on this TV show. And yeah, I think it made me laugh more than I thought. I think especially the situation when Fleabag she lifted up her her blues, and then she thought like, you know, she said that she didn't do it like for sexual favor, with the bank manager, but well, like it's just like a gigantic hint of how everything's going on the show for most of the time. Uh, in like I just like that it doesn't waste any single second of how things are going with the protagonist and all the characters around her, especially her family, which is her sister Claire and even her father and her godmother, which is like, okay, yep, they don't really like each other at all. They find things they don't like, especially the godmother, because they have, it's like they don't need to tell you why they don't like it, but it's like you trust them of they have their valid reasons of why they don't like the godmother, and the godmother doesn't like, especially Fleabag. Well, I'm gonna call the protagonist Fleabag and Claire maybe a little bit, but more Phoebe Waller-Bridge character. Well, yeah, and also there's like a big hint of showing the darkest thing that happened in this TV show, which is the death of the protagonist's best friend. So, which is like, I guess, little by little being going to be shown how everything happened. But yep, very good, excellent pilot episode. So let's see what's next. I watched episode 2 of season 1 of the TV show Fleabag. Uh, it is very good. Now we are discovering another character, I guess, who is the Claire's husband, Martin. And then I also forget to say from the first episode is like you find out how the protagonist is very like, having sexual activity as often as possible. I also like I'm very curious about how she's trying to get back with her ex, Harry, I think that was his name. But I guess she is way too chaotic at the protagonist, so obviously she's going to be causing a lot of problems for everyone she wants to socialize with. Um, in this case, now she's like hanging out with the after Harry, she's like with two guys, let's say. And I guess she's just going to be messing around with everyone she can. But well, like I guess this ends bad. I guess at least in my subjectivity, it ends bad because Harry and the protagonist eventually they broke up. Now that I guess the reason is because the protagonist isn't really taking care or doing her effort for having a good relationship with Harry. So yep, it had to end. I guess it was a good second episode. I watched episode 3 of the first season of Fleabag. This was a very interesting episode, I guess. Uh, it's just like it's like I just find it funny. It's like I wish they didn't interact so much, Fleabag, with the closest members of her family or with people. But I guess she has to do it all the time. But it's just like uh, they have to encounter each other even if they don't really want to. In this case, it was more like uh, the party of Claire, which obviously Claire is like very very picky of what kind of stuff she wants, especially in something so small like like a birthday party. I guess she's even crazier about what she wants in her life. But yeah, it's just like now ended up the episode of drunk Martin kissing the protagonist, and he's like, ugh, this is not nice. But well, I guess things have to happen in order to create more craziness in this TV show. So let's see what happens next. I watched episode 4 of season 1 of the TV show Fleabag, and I guess it was. I think this is like the most peaceful episode so far, in some sense. Like the least tragic one, maybe. And it just, it just like, it's interesting of just trying to find out of what's going to be next. Uh, the protagonist and Claire, they go to the silent retreat, and you- what I like is that they show that even in that kind of situation, they still remain very chaotic. So it's like dealing with everything that is going around, from something small like the stolen statue to something bigger like deciding what is going to be what Claire wants in her life, and Fleabag, well, aka the protagonist, trying to tell Claire of the inappropriate keys that Martin tried to give to her. And but well, it's a little bit nice that that contrast of the silent retreat with the better man retreat that you find the bank manager and other men. You find all the noise and screaming from those people into the women's silent retreat. So it's like, okay. I guess that is like a neighborhood or some area where retreats are often made. But yeah, I guess I finally liking this episode that is like giving you a decent breath of all the tension and craziness that has been going on from the previous episodes. So let's see what's next. I watched episode 5 of season 1 of that TV show Fleabag, and well, this is like, I mean, this is like, I don't know how to say. I guess it was good, but I don't like it. I mean, I like it, but I hate the feeling of, stress. Like I guess that's the worst way to give a summary of this show. Is like stress of, oh no, now this and now that, and well, I guess it's like in this episode it's the anniversary of the mother's death. Claire and her sister, aka the protagonist. I'm gonna call her Fleabag, just like that TV show title. Um, and it's just funny. I just find it very funny how it's like the godmother tried to integrate into the mourning of the father and the two sisters, and but of course, she wasn't very into. She wasn't into that family, of course. So, uh, I don't know. You just find how things don't go well between the godmother and the two sisters, especially Fleabag. But I think also Claire is like not liking it. Um, yeah, and you can arguably say like, yeah, finally Fleabag is becoming clear of not becoming so promiscuous. Now there's like the uh I don't know how to name that guy who, there's the one with the, sorry, I have to say, with the ugly tooth and the ugly teeth, I mean. And then there was Harry, who of course, Harry broke up with her. And then the ugly teeth guy, he of course he recognized that he wasn't liked by Fleabag. Now there's like the motorcycle bike. That's I'm going to call him, even though I think he's better recognized because of how he reacts to having sexual relationships with Fleabag. So I'm just going to call him the motorbike guy. Hopefully, it's like, well, maybe there's something clearer, something that is not going to be so chaotic for Fleabag anymore. And also, I feel like a little bit sad of there's a big risk of Fleabag losing the cafe, and maybe it's like the last thing she's ever going to have from her best friend who sadly passed away. You can arguably say it was because of an accident or because it was intentional of you know killing herself. So let's see what's going to be next for the end of Fleabag season 1. Hopefully, it's a good ending. Watch episode 6 of season 1 of the TV show Fleabag, and well, I guess it was a good ending. I guess pretty much it was a good ending of there wasn't anything that wasn't like, oh, I didn't like this, I didn't like that. But I have to be honest, I didn't find something like, wow, it's the greatest ending ever. But of course, because it's like a kind of sad. Well, it's a bitter ending. I don't say it's a sad ending, but well, so I forgot to say that the godmother has the sexy vision, and then pretty much the protagonist is like, yeah, I need to go there, uh, and then suddenly, the motorbike guy, he's like, oh, I'm in love with you, and then it's like, oh, I'm still in this relation. Like pretty much, Fleabag, she doesn't know how to pick the right man. I dare to say so. Uh, and also like things are at least what I'm liking of this episode. What I like it is that things got resolved for better for worse. So pretty much, Fleabag doesn't have anybody, not at least with that kind of lifestyle she was having, and then Claire, sadly, she's going to stay with Martin, even though Fleabag told her about what happened, and they Claire uh, touched well, Claire triggered Fleabag saying that, yeah, but you did the wrong thing of hooking up with your best friend's man. So it's like Fleabag, oh no, now I have like trauma flashback, and sadly, uh, it's like she's very depressed. Even like I what I understood, she was like even trying to repeat Boo's death now with her body, um, which there's nothing funny about, of course. But it's like suddenly, well, before that, I'm trying to remember like the man, the father, he complained of Fleabag misbehaving in her godmother's sex exhibition, and like things didn't go anything right for Fleabag, of course. Like, yep, it was what was going to happen with all this chaos happening around these 6 episodes, and all the things that had happened before the beginning of the first episode, according to the backstory. So pretty much, Fleabag is like giving up on life, and but suddenly she encounters one last time with the bank manager, and I guess things are going to be better. Huh? Hopefully, now in season 2, uh, things will be better. It was a decent first season, so that's pretty much I have to say. I can see why people love this TV show, so it's very open to talk about anything, absolutely anything, especially sex life, I guess, and how even the people you live very close to are not the nicest thing you have today in daily life. So, yep, I'm excited to continue watching Fleabag. To be more specific, season number 2. Yep. I watched episode 1 of season 2 of the TV show Fleabag. I don't know why I say Fleabag. I mean Fleabag. Gag. Well, yeah. Uh, what I wanted to say is that okay, I guess it was an interesting time jump. I think it was like 370 say 370 days in total, something like that, from the end of season 1 to the beginning of season 2. Uh, Pretty much like the family are encountering each other because there is the big new the big announcement of the father's engagement with the godmother. So that is interesting, and pretty much it's like Fleabag. From what I understood, Fleabag and the sister Claire, they never saw each other like after more than a year. So pretty much it's like the family trying to get along again after all this time. And there's this new character who I pretty much guess he's going to be very important for this season, and it is the priest. So I guess it's like this episode is pretty much of testing if the family can be back together, especially Fleabag and her sister Claire. Sadly, finding out that Claire, she's still unable to have babies, especially she had a miscarriage during the dinner. Martin is still a very problematic guy, especially with his drinking. He hasn't stopped drinking alcohol, even though he's lying that he's not drinking alcohol anymore. And I guess like the godmother and the father is still the same, even though Fleabag doesn't like her and the mother doesn't like her. But yeah, it's like pretty much Fleabag. I guess she has controlled herself with how to be chaotic in her sexual life. But now she's going into what is giving me a bad intuition of maybe now she wants to do something with the priest. Hopefully not. But well, in the end, the episode ends in an explosion of Fleabag hitting Martin, and then Martin hitting back Fleabag and the priest, and like it was a very weird situation. But in the end, there was a physical injury between some characters. So yeah, I wonder what's going to be next. Ooh, I watched episode 2 of season 2 of the TV show Fleabag, and it was a nice episode. So you have I also forgot to mention in the previous audio that Fleabag, it seems that she's doing well with the cafe, and that she got for birthday present therapy session, a psycho mental therapy session, which is interesting. And things is like I don't know how things are going to be solved, because it's like supposedly Martin is suing Fleabag because of the attack, and but also like Claire, she's like, yeah, I'm going to help you, so we can find a way of solving this political legal tension with Martin. um and and of course, uh, now coming back about the birthday present, she went with the therapist, and she was very, I would say in general, she was direct about saying what's going on with her life, and like, oh, she was mourning about the loss of her friend Steele and the loss of her mother, and she's still having problems of how to live her life, especially in romantic and sexual terms. So now she even said like she's attracted to the priest. I wonder what is going to be next. I also found it like I guess how you say, like, convenient to the screenplay, convenient to the story, that suddenly the father and the godmother are going to be married with a Catholic priest. Like, I'm not convinced those two people are like very religious people. I guess like they kind of explain that they want to be married with the most religious way possible. So well, it's just their weirdness being exposed in the TV show one more time. But yeah, uh, sadly, I think things are not going to end in the best way possible for all the characters. But well, I guess the, that's what makes Fleabag an interesting show to watch. Let's see what's going to be next. Yep, yep. Oh no. I watched episode 3 of season 2 of Fleabag. Uh, another very good episode. You have pretty much Fleabag trying to get along once again with her sister Claire. Uh, I guess he just, I think it's funny. The TV show is like things go bad one way or another, and it's just like there's almost no time to breathe of every single tiny bad thing going on. And in this case, you find more about Claire, uh, secret crush, and then there is like the awards event in which like you can still feel the the mistake of Fleabag destroying the trophy, the award, and you know it's one thing and another. You really have time to process what's going on in the best way possible because of the tension, the stress, and Fleabag is like, well, I did my best to get along and try to make my sister Claire like me again, but it kind of happened. It didn't happen. I don't know how to say it, but she tried to get along with the awarded woman, Belinda, but no. Uh, Luckily, Belinda is a mature, smart woman who didn't want to get along with Fleabag, at least not so intimate. And finally, Fleabag is very persistent, almost, I dare to say, to almost harassing the priest of getting into sexual relationship and romantic relationship with him, but the priest is like, no, I have the vow of celibacy and I need to be a proper Catholic priest. Uh, I mean, I just find it funny, like how the priest, because from what I understand, the priest is very new into his priesthood, like, so I guess he's immature of how to be a proper priest, and sadly, he doesn't know how to handle this situation with the protagonist. And I guess things are going to end wrong for both of them. Uh, but yeah, I think it was very interesting to see that tiny detail of the priest noticing how Fleabag is breaking the fourth wall. So it's like, oh no. Now this gives a lot of interpretation of what it means, Fleabag, when she breaks the fourth wall, and now what does it mean when the priest notices that Fleabag can do that. Yeah, I have been saying the word Fleabag too many times, even though it's not like confirmed if her character name is Fleabag. I just say it because that's the name of the TV show, and it's a lot about this woman, Phoebe Waller-Bridge character. So I call her Fleabag, or the protagonist, or Phoebe Waller-Bridge character. But yeah, things are getting very interesting, for better or for worse, and let's see what's going to be like for the next 3 episodes. It's not going to end good. It's going to end good for entertainment quality, but not good in morality, lifestyle, life quality of the main character, Fleabag, and the priest and other characters. You know what I mean. I watched episode 4 of season 2 of Fleabag, and it was a, well, I guess interesting episode. Pretty much it was an episode of only the protagonist and the priest spending a day together, getting literally intimate in every sense, like trying to get the best clothing for the priest in the wedding, and then, trying to get to know each other, and they encounter again at the church, at the parish, at night, and the protagonist like telling her all the things that she has experienced in life, and suddenly they get into a moment of passion, I guess. Yeah, when I was watching that suddenly they were kissing each other, I was like, no, don't do that, you're sinning. No, 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 that's too bad, at least for the rules of that religion. uh well, I mean, I don't know. Like, I want to say more things about this episode, but it's just like pretty much it does a lot of everything of this TV show. I don't need to say something. I just feel that it's a little bit, by watching this episode, I was like, it feels like I'm watching like a fan fiction or something, like, the from the creators of 50 Shades of Grey, or After, or all of that kind of stuff that usually some kind of people like to watch. But I think I think it works a little bit more because there's a sense of humor in every single aspect, and it feels better pace or better rhythm and things like that. Like, I mean, it can get away with that. What I just find it funny about this TV show is that, I mean, there are many reasons why I can dislike all the characters, but still, I just keep watching it. And I guess it's good that there's very few episodes, and, there's in total 12 episodes, and it's like 25 minutes per episode. So it's just like at the perfect edge of not becoming very hateful for watching these characters, but also not boring and all of these. It's like very well calculated. I dare to say everything that is going on this TV show. So yeah, now I'm just hoping that they apologize for what they have been doing to each other between Fleabag and the priest, and the priest and the institution, like whatever. It's just hopefully things that get very bad. I don't want things to get worse than they already are. Let's see what's going to be next. Watch episode 5 of season 2 of the TV show Fleabag. And, well, another interesting episode to watch. Yeah, I really like the idea of the priest, like kind of quitting during the ceremony, but also it's just like not, yeah, like Fleabag realizing what the trouble that she caused, but of course, like, I guess she's doing it because she doesn't like the godmother. But, well, I think it's also interesting. What I'm just realizing, and I didn't expect from this TV show, is I really like how much they are showing the struggle of Claire, of not liking her current relationship and interesting in other people. I just find it funny that when she was like screaming and calling Fleabag for help, I was about to think it was going to be something more tragic, but it is just about the haircut. And, well, I guess it's just like Fleabag tried to help her sister, even making her sister live a better life. I guess that she is also like just realizing that the father also wants to get a better life, and that's why in the end she's going to be letting the father to get married with the godmother. But, well, it's also interesting to see one more time the bank manager, because it's like, oh, okay. I mean, it's interesting. There's finally a person that Fleabag isn't so much interested in hooking up, I dare to say. But, well, it's also, yeah, just nice to see. I think, I mean, it's funny because I want to say Martin is the antagonist of this TV show, but there's really no antagonist on this entire show. It's just like everyone has flaws and has problems, and everyone try to be nice to each other, whether they are not good at it. So, yeah, I'm appreciating why this TV show is very special in one of its kind. It has something that I don't really remember watching from any other TV show, especially including with a lot of humor and comedy. So let's see how everything is going to end. Sadly, this episode ended in the crazy note of Fleabag and the priest having sexual relationships. So it's like, oh no, now things are getting worse. At least for what I don't like, but well, I guess that's the drama of the TV show that makes things more interesting and more unforgettable for any viewer of Fleabag. So let's see what's going to be next. I watched the episode number 6 of the second season of Fleabag, also known as the last episode of the TV show Fleabag. And I mean, I thought it was a good resolution. I think you could say everything went in the best way possible. You know, the father and the godmother got married. Claire, in the end, she was able to confess that she was the one with the miscarriage, and you could arguably say that she left Martin because she prefers Claire, the Swedish guy. So yeah, and luckily for what I prefer this TV show to happen, it seems that the priest is not going to continue developing the relationship. I mean, I think that's the nicest way to say it. The priest is not going to continue developing the relationship with Fleabag. So, okay, that's very good. But I don't know. I guess that's a gigantic mistake that the priest made, according to the vow of celibacy in his church. But well, I don't. I won't be wasting more time about that. But yeah, it was, as I told you, it was a very satisfying resolution of everything that happened in the 12 episodes of this British show. So it was worth watching, I guess. So I don't think there's ever going to be a third season. I don't think so. Now that it has happened more than 5 years from the last season. So yeah, I think it was a good experience. I just find it funny that it's only 12 episodes. It's like 3 hours in total. I don't remember, but it's like, what I really mean is that it could be like a feature film, this TV show, of 3 hour TV show. But well, I guess the creator, Phoebe Waller-Bridge, preferred making it into a TV show. So yeah, I guess it's nice. I don't know what else to say. Yeah, I really think it was a good TV show. May I rewatch it? I'm not sure. I don't think so. But I think I'll be able to remember everything that happened in this TV show, and the funny moments and the tragic moments and all of this and all of that throughout the decades. So that's very good. So yep. So it's very, I don't know what else to say. So because I remember watching Crashing, the previous TV show that Phoebe Waller-Bridge created. It's a little more like less serious, less dramatic. I mean, it's just like, a group of friends who are like sharing a place to live, and it was entertaining. But I feel that Fleabag is much better made, much better chaotic, and more interesting, more engaging, and things like that. So yeah, but I can see like why people are going to see this as a classic throughout the years. So I guess this is a good point to finish speaking. So thank you so much for listening all these audio clips of me reacting to every single episode of Fleabag. So yeah, the fox is my favorite character from this TV show. So I don't know what other things that I like from the TV show that I want to remember. Not really. Well, I guess this is it. Bye bye. Thank you. Oh, I forgot to say, like, I mean, I could see possible, like, third season happening in this TV show. Like, I can see it happening, like, 10 years after everything of this happened, you know, I don't know, just to say random things. The father died. Fleabag's and Claire's father died, and Claire is now living with the Swedish man Claire. And now it seems like the priest has already stopped being a priest. Now he's a civilian, and now he wants to hang and come back with Fleabag. Like, I can imagine myself, like, if Fleabag gets a third season, it will be very cool. So yeah, I mean, I guess the TV show succeeded in to make me interested of what's going to be next during the episodes and after the end of this second season. So I consider this TV show, I guess, an outstanding TV show. So yeah, this officially is going to be my end. I also got seriously worried about the priest. It's like, yeah, if there was like a continuation, I would be surprised of the priest being punished by the church or things like, that's a very serious matter. Everything that happened with the priest and having romantic and sexual relationships with Fleabag. So that will also be interesting to see every single detail of that punishment. But well, I'm just way too interested into that. I don't know what else to say. I think now I promise this is going to be the end of me speaking about Fleabag. So thank you for listening. Once again, thank you for listening, and bye bye.